After 5.5 years on autopilot, I was made redundant this April. I used to make vlogs on my dad's computer, but just never post them. And after this whole experience with work, I've basically just decided, fuck it, we're all gonna die one day. So to kickstart my life out of the deep, deep rut that I have been living in, I've made some goals. Love a list. 1. Develop a relationship with movement that doesn't make me want to crawl up on the ground and cry. Starting with yoga and walking, I know both of those things work for me. Definitely function better mentally and as a kind human being when I am moving my body. So, starting there. 2. Write every day, Monday to Friday. 3. Complete the Artist's Way, which, if you don't know what that is, totally fair. It is a 12-week course created by Julia Cameron. It's all about unblocking the inner artist, meant to be life-changing. I tried it last year and gave up. 4. The real pipe dream. Find a morning and evening routine that actually works for me and stick to it. I have not achieved this during my 28 years on Earth. Maybe it'll work this time. I'm really not holding my breath. Okay. Okay, hi. I've just done the first reading chunk of The Artist's Way, which was the introduction, a little bit on the basic principles and the morning pages and artist state, which I kind of knew about all of that stuff already because I have attempted to do this before, but good to refresh. And then, yeah, read the first chapter of week 1, which is a lot about affirmations and the kind of inner artist being a child, and what things people have said to you in your past that maybe have blocked or contributed to you being a blocked artist, which is very interesting. This is a thing that I underlined last time, but I still think is worth reflecting on. If being an artist seems too good to be true to you, you will devise a price tag for it that strikes you as unpayable. Call me out. I mean, that's kind of this whole book, isn't it? The thing that I wanted to talk about was where she gets you to write an affirmation 10 times and then listen to what blurts. So what your inner critic says in response to you writing that affirmation. So the one that she gets you to write is, as an example, you can do whatever you want, but I did a similar version of this. So I, Vita, am a brilliant and prolific writer and creator. Feels very uncomfortable to say, which is the point, right? And so then you sort of write down what your blurts were. So what did I have? Not heaps. I do find one of my issues with stuff like this is that I've been told that I'll have blurts and then I'm overthinking and intellectualizing before I've even blurted what those blurts will be and making them up. I don't know. It's this strange, I don't even know how to describe it. There's a third thing in your brain looking at the artist and the critic and trying to judge. It's another layer of judgment. Listen, anyway, my blurts were, whatever, this isn't true, what a waste of time, God, your writing is so messy. Yeah, rush through this like you rush through everything. And this is silly. And then she gets you to reframe those as positive affirmations. So mine was, my creativity is worthy of my time. I, Vita, am genuinely talented. My creative journey is valuable and important. Creative passion is allowed to be messy. I, Vita, take time and care with my work. So then I guess I rewritten that a little bit to be what I think my key affirmation should be, at least for this first week, which is, I, Vita, believe my creative journey is worthy of my time and is inherently valuable. Which I think the thing that really got me was rush through this like you rush through everything and what a waste of time. Both of those felt they cut very deep to the issue of why I haven't been writing consistently. Like, I don't give myself the time to write. I don't give myself the time to be creative. I always put them off for like other things, like, oh, I have to clean the house, or my friend needs my support right now and I can't like prioritize that, or um I've left it too late in the day. I've already been scrolling for 2 hours. Like, might as well just keep scrolling. Now it's time to cook dinner. Like, all of those kind of like silly little things that are like, actually, getting up and writing for 10 minutes would be better than me continuing to scroll for another hour. But clearly, I don't think it's worthy of my time and is valuable. Or I think there's something wrong with only giving something a little bit of time and rushing. And yeah, the rushing one I like need to unpack. I know it's like, this is so vulnerable, but whatever. My parents separated when I was 8. I have a little sister who was about 5 when that happened. And I definitely kind of got thrust into that like classic eldest child, messy divorce. You become like a third parent. So we moved between my mum and my dad's house every 3.5 to 4 days. Obviously, really intense. I was also doing ballet quite intensely, like multiple hours every week. And I was also doing flute lessons on top of, school. So I had like 2 extracurriculars which required kit. This is where I'm going with this. I was like a bag lady. I was carrying a flute, ballet gear, clothing, plus like my school books. The amount of shit I left on buses because I was so stressed out and anxious and like rushing and trying to make sure I could get places on time. Understandably, lost stuff is not great. Like, financially, my parents couldn't be buying me new shit all the time. But I definitely have a really, really negative, like, for God's sake, Peter, you're always rushing, you're always leaving things places and not giving things the time that they need and not being attentive. Narrative, which has stuck around, which is actually not true anymore, particularly. I'm definitely a whole lot better than I used to be because I'm not fucking losing my mind anymore. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a interesting one. Interesting narrative that I need to work through. But it's hard, I think, with these like narratives. Sometimes they're like blatantly untrue. That narrative of me rushing and not being attentive was true. But I think it's about giving myself grace that what I was going through and having to deal with and having to keep control of was really intense. And I can intellectually know that and have empathy for that younger version of me, and also know that I'm like no longer there, and I've worked through that and I've spoken to my parents about that, and like we've talked about it and they've acknowledged it and all of that stuff. But knowing that intellectually and having the like critic voice still repeat those things that I was told or that I bet myself up for is a whole other thing. I've obviously rambled about this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to edit this. Anyway, it's very interesting what comes up. It's also interesting because I feel like I got different alerts, some similar and some different last time I did this. So I do think if you've done the artist way before, it's worth doing it again. And if you've abandoned it before, it's definitely worth doing again.
Guys, this is so good. Book of Guilt by Catherine Chidgey.
It is 10 p.m. I've written 694 words. Thusly. If I meant to write 600, I could probably get it down to 600 if I edited it, but I need to wash my face and go to bed. Because I'm fucking tired! That's good exercise though. It was interesting. Not something I would naturally write, which I think is the point of doing a writing exercise. Hello. Beta from the future here, editing Beta here. I never explained what this is, so I'm putting this in at the beginning, but actually I'm filming this on Friday. The book that you will see me looking at in all of the writing segments throughout this video is 3am Epiphany by Brian, I want to say Kitely, but it could be Kitley. He was, or is I have no idea actually, this was published in 2005, but on the back it says he's the director of the University of Denver's creative writing program. I did a creative writing minor at university as part of my degree. When I was thinking this year about wanting to get back into writing regularly, I felt like doing some of the writing exercises that I did back in the day or similar would be really beneficial to just like get the ball rolling a little bit, make my brain kind of work in a way that it hasn't for a few years. So I just searched writing prompt books, writing exercise books. This one came up. It looked kind of interesting. It had pretty decent reviews. The only thing I will say from my experience of using it so far, you can really tell it was published in 2005. Some of the way that like the character exercises are put forward are very binary. And the way technology is written about is just kind of hilarious. But yes, this is what you will see me flick through throughout the week. I've basically just been opening on a random page and picking a exercise and then doing it.
Morning. Hoping today goes a bit better. I didn't sleep very well again, so I slept in a bit this morning because I didn't really get to bed until like 2 p.m. That would be crazy. 2 a.m. But I wrote last night, which feels really, really good. Like, it was kind of shit. Like, the story itself was kind of average, but like literally that's the point. It's just exercising the muscle. I got home like an hour ago and it's a lovely day and I just feel really sad. The reality of being unemployed right now, and although I know I'm like doing everything I can, and you know, like financially I'm fine for a while, like I'm okay, but it's just like frightening and it feels like a failure. I am going to deal with this laundry and then vacuum the house. It's gonna be okay. Hopefully.
Good morning. You join me today on a very gloomy Wednesday. I'm waiting for my property manager to show up to do a flat inspection. So I'm gonna try to write. And I've done yoga already, and then I'll go for a walk once she leaves. I'm hoping she gets here before midday. But you just never know. They always give the biggest windows for these things. Anyway, we'll update further later. We'll do it.
Good morning. Yesterday was a bit of a dud because I was kind of just waiting around for our property manager to get here to do the flat inspection. I did do yoga and I did write and I did do my morning pages. I didn't go for a walk, but that's okay. Still pretty good. Still a pretty good day. That's good stuff. Okay, time to reflect. Week 1 of The Artist's Way. What an experience. I wrote down my stats the other day, somewhere in here. And apologies if the sun fucks with everything. It keeps going in and out behind clouds, so it might be a little bit weird. Okay. I wrote 4 out of the 5 days, which I would say is not bad. I did also write a little bit over the weekend, so it kind of balanced out to 5 days, which is what I want. I want to do Monday to Friday, obviously, but 4 out of 5. To be totally transparent, I got my period on the Friday and I was feeling like absolute dog shit, and also preparing for my best friend to arrive the next day. So, sue me. Yoga was only 3 out of 5 days, which I'm not super stoked about. I didn't do any yoga while Ayla was here because she was sleeping on the couch, and we have a very small living room, and it just felt a bit like a dick move to make her move her stuff so that I could do yoga. And there's literally nowhere else in the house that I could do it, which is a little bit of a shame. But, you know, 3 out of 5 could be worse. The walk couldn't be worse. I walked 1 day out of the 5. My excuse is that it was really fucking shit weather. But I did then walk a ton over the weekend. But not like I am going on a walk. I just walked a lot because we were shopping. Doesn't really count. My screen time did go down, which I don't think I mentioned screen time at the start, but I do want to work on that a lot at the minute as well. Yeah, was there anything else? Morning pages, I did, I can kind of figure that out from this. 4, 5, 5? 5. 5 out of 7 on the morning pages. See, now it's all dark. Whatever. Yeah, so the weekend was a bit of a fail, but I'm kind of not going to be too harsh on myself on that because of Ayla being here, which was lovely and very, very necessary. And we did some shopping and I want to share. So, first things first, I got this very beautiful, it's probably going to be really hard to tell, but it's like a knitted hoodie. So it's like a woolen, very, very soft wool with a little hood. And it's like the perfect like little cropped kind of length that just like hits right where my jeans start, which I love. I do need to give it a bit of a wash because it's a little, it feels a little tight, like someone's maybe put it through the washing machine. So I'm gonna try and get some wool shampoo and give that a nice bathe. And also, you know, when things just smell a bit like the op shop, which is not the best, but it's Sass and Bide, which is like a very fancy Australian brand. So super stoked, and I got it for $10. We love the op shop. And then I had very successful book time. First things first, we went for dinner at Ombra on the Saturday night, which was so good. And then we were walking down Cuba Street because Ayla lives out of Wellington now, so she wanted to just have a little wander and see Cuba Street because that's where we spent a lot of our teenage years. And we walked past RDB's and I forgot that they opened late, so obviously we went in. And I found these 2 very beautiful, what are they, Wordsworth Classics editions of Dracula and Animal Farm and Selected Essays by George Orwell. Never even tried to read this, read a little bit of Dracula in university for a paper, but never actually read the whole thing. And I had a copy of it that I've always hated. It's like a very awkward hardback that I just find hardbacks kind of uncomfortable to read. So I don't really gravitate towards my hardbacks, particularly classic hardbacks. I don't know why, I just don't seem to read them. So very excited to read these. They're both very cute copies as well, which we love. Then at, I think it was a Sally's, can't fully remember, I got Luster by Raven Leilani, I want to say, Leilani. Excited to read this, my sister also just read this. Then The Lonely City by Olivia Lang, which is about a woman living in New York in her mid-30s, and I'm fairly certain it's a memoir. Yeah, I've just heard a lot of good things about this over the years. And then this is Croatian National Jewellery, which is a very beautiful sort of, yeah, book about Croatian jewellery, which might seem super random. The connection there is that my mum's mum, so my grandma on my maternal side, was adopted. We didn't really know anything about her parents. We knew who her mum was, but we weren't 100% what her dad was. did a bunch of family research like a decade ago now, I want to say. My mum did with my grandma and found who the dad was, and he was a Croatian man who lived in Auckland, and we connected with some of the cousins and they were able to tell us about the family and everything. So yeah, so I have some Croatian heritage through my grandma, and we're planning a trip next year in like next September-ish kind of time to go to Croatia with me, my mum and my sister, which will be very special. And yeah, it just felt like a nice thing to have and a nice thing to show my mum. So yeah, really excited to have found that. And then Ayla has lent me The Great Big Beautiful Life, which is the latest Emily Henry book. So I will definitely be reading that in the next couple of weeks. She also gave me this incredibly beautiful Scenes from Shakespeare, illustrated by J.H. Bacon. It says, there's very little information in this. It feels quite like handmade, but it says designed in England and printed in Germany. There's no year or anything that we could find on it. But it's just these very beautiful, illustrated scenes from Shakespeare. We became friends in an English class where we were studying Merchant of Venice, and we have a Merchant of Venice quote tattoo together, and then it opened up on the first page to one of the Merchant of Venice scenes, so felt very fitting and very special for a lovely little birthday gift, because I am 28 this Friday, which is the reason why she was visiting. The last thing, if you are a Baba kid, either the books or the TV show, hold your horses, because this is pretty special. This was $8. It needs a little bit of love. The frame needs cleaning. I might paint the frame black because it's a bit dinged up, and I feel like a green. I'm just not obsessed with it. With the house, we have a red, very big red curtain, and red and green just give Christmas a little bit too much for me. But yeah, super stoked on this. Okay, so that was week 1 of The Artist's Way. Thanks for watching if you've stuck around this long. I'm sure it'll be like 5 people, probably one of which will be my mum, and one of which will be my sister, and one of which will be my boyfriend, and one of which will be my best friend. And you know what? That's okay. We love to be supported by the people who are actually in our lives. If you're not in my life and you're supporting and you're here, you rock. You're the best. I'll see you next week. Bye.